Edge Technology screens. Had to be up for this one. A little late, a little early in the morning. All right, so I've mentioned this many times before, why gray screen paint products are outdated. Again, I explained that this is a product that has been out 9 years ago, because we used to make it 9 years ago. We used to develop and design this stuff, sell it, everything 9 years ago. Videos, beta testers, contracts. We did extremely well with it 9 years ago. About 7, around timestamps from the videos we have under the company Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. I'll put the keyword at the bottom where you can look us up on YouTube under Digital One Crystal Screen Paint, and you will see tons of videos of beta testers, of contract distributors we were working with at that particular time with this particular product. The problem you have with, and I explained this crystal clear many times, the problem you have with the gray screen product is the fact that it has served its time. It is an outdated product. Pretty much by using this stuff, all you're doing is just priming your wall for pretty much something better. At that particular time, and now, mind you, I'm explaining this to you because you're going to have individuals that are going to be extremely upset and angry, that are going to think that this is a lie, not true. Again, I was making that great product before you existed, so I know quite a lot about it. And like I said, at the stage that you're at with that product, we've been there and done that. We were contracted through another company. We were displayed on Facebook. That Facebook page is still there, and it just shows proof of our success with that great product, which is much, much higher than the two individuals or any individual who makes the product. Now, does it serve a purpose? I guess yes. If you consider that next to a white screen, it is better than a white screen, you know. Does it do the same thing that the newer technology like gunmetal or black screens? No, it doesn't. Gunmetal is the reason why it became a product outdated. It became outdated. Now, just to give you a little history real quick, at that particular time, 9 years back, the gray screen paint product was considered to be top of the market. It was right around in the area of Goose Screen. Goose Screen was the black diamond of screen paints. See, the thing about it is, before you can go on a rant and carry on, you have to understand the product that you are selling, the history behind it, which you don't even know. So this is why I'm explaining it to you, because I was in that era when those products were very popular. So, Goose Screen being the top and most advanced paint at the particular time, everybody wanted to be Goose Screen. Everybody wanted to have that ultimate gray screen, and people started developing and making their own products because a lot of people couldn't afford $600 and $800 a quart. So people started coming up with these ideas on basically how to make these particular products. And this is way before we got into business, because I wasn't even in screen paint at that particular time. I was IT, so I was in that field. So at that particular time, when I was developing and designing computers and programming and all that other craziness, I got into it because a friend of mine had a projection screen set up, and I had two Sony side-by-side 1080p projectors hooked up to a 2011 motherboard and all other good stuff. I won't go into all that detail of my machine. But anyway, long story short, I got when I was trying to I obtained a projector, BenQ MS500, which I need to buy another one of those. That was my old projector from back in the day. That's my first one. When trying to obtain this projector, I got this projector set up, got rid of my TVs and so forth. And when hitting a white wall, I noticed that the screen was absolutely horrible compared, especially coming up two Sony monitors. So a friend of mine suggested this YouTube paint, which I went to Home Depot to make, which to find out that two of the ingredients were no longer available. And from there, I prayed and got the ingredients for the Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. That's how Digital Crystal Screen Paint was started. So this was a black and white mixture screen paint. As I told you, we gave the ingredients because we no longer make it anymore. Now, at that particular time, there were no gunmetal screens. There were no black diamonds. If black diamond was there, it's probably in development stage, but I've never seen a black diamond at that particular time. I got to go back and see how far black diamond actually existed. But I know at that particular time, I never seen any gunmetal screens. If not, it would have popped up in my search of trying to find a screen that I can use in my against my wall. All right, so after that, using the great product and the product we designed, this is where we started selling our product. This is where we started making money. This is where we started getting publicity on YouTube. We had beta testers, and then boop, got a contract popped up from overseas, and that's how we got logged onto the contract. So you go to the Facebook page, you can see my stuff on display with the beta testers and all that stuff. So when the gunmetal came out, that's right around the time when my buddy June, which was my vice president at the time, I went down to the store and said, hey, look, this is a screen called, we were looking at black projection screens. And I had a couple of people actually were showing off black projection screens and different ways on how they were designing these films over on AGS forums. And there was a company that popped up by the name of Screen Innovation that had the screen and it looked black. From what we saw, it was black. And it was insane. It was freaking amazing gunmetal technology. So eventually I got a sample sheet of this product, got it home, got a chance to test it out. And mind you, I swore up and down by my technology that I had in the house. I was seeing contrast, I was seeing color, I was seeing all the things that made my product more advanced than anybody else's on the market. When I brought that diamond sheet and the black diamond punch sheet into that environment, that's when I saw the difference. That's when I saw true contrast. Well, not true contrast, remember they're gunmetal, but at that particular time, it was true contrast to me. That gunmetal, that black diamond that went into my shop that day and I saw what I saw, changed everything, going in the wrong direction. My time for great screen paints was over. If this technology existed and this technology was being sold on the market and there were other ones like it that were going to follow behind it, I would be obsolete in no time at all. So I had to make a decision. I can go down this path, continue on with the great screen paints, or I could change over to dark technology, which I did. So I decided if I'm going to go against this company, I can't have a gunmetal screen. I want something better. I want black. I want something that they can't go against. I want to be the top. And here you are. Many years later, we have the 38 and all the different forms of dark technologies we have developed to get to this road. We have the final screen, which is a 38 Black Widow, which you're seeing right before you right now. And this screen right here, yes. And I do believe 100% can take on a black diamond. Because what I researched on Black Diamond's technology, their screens aren't black, they're gunmetal. And if you have a gunmetal screen, you can't go against a black screen, especially if it can maintain a white level high enough to blend into your screen. That becomes a problem. So, let's show you this demonstration. We got several forms of great products here. No, we will not be using the other individuals' products here at all, period. As we said before, there's no need because, as I said before, we can either make or just basically match these products to any form of other great products that are found on Home Depot, Lowe's, Sherwin-Williams, or Benjamin Moore. We have done demonstrations on our products, showing our products versus black paint, versus fabric, all kinds of different materials to show that our product differs from different forms of black surfaces and so forth, different forms of paints and stuff, to show that we have no affiliation with any form of different kinds of black or maybe surfaces or different products. But one requesting, I would like to bring this up, but one requesting for these great products to do demonstrations against different gray paints that may match their products, or making these products, they have refused. And the reason why they have refused, because their products will match. Even the Digital One Crystal screen paint will match. So there's really no difference in it at all. At that particular time, everybody was making almost the exact same thing, a little different from one to another. But at the end of the day, when you really thought about it, now they would easily match with no problem. It was just how they were selling them and how they were actually putting them out on the market. They make everybody was a little bit different than the other. The tests that we have now, we've never done on a digital and crystal screen, never done. I don't think they would even have passed. But as I said right before, we never did a lot of side-by-side comparisons. None of that stuff was ever done. More like environment demonstrations, stuff like that, which screen can produce a better white level, which screen can produce better images in a fully lit environment. Mainly that was the main thing back then, was if your screen can produce in a fully lit environment. Back then, gray screens, majority of every demonstration you saw on YouTube was done in the dark. If you found one that had a couple lights in there, you had a good screen paint, because it showed that the screen paint could maintain in a fully lit environment. Back then, everything was in the dark. It was expected for it to be in the dark, not now. Now with the ambient light projection technology. All right, so let's get to this and show you. Now, as I said before, these products, as I explained before, are different. As I said, they're different from the products from 9 years ago. They would have no problem going side by side against the Sherwin-Williams or some of the other products we have mentioned, and be able to show a huge, massive, significant difference between one over another. It would be to show that. Same way when we go in, you go to our website, you can see demonstrations of us doing tests against black screens, black fabrics, all that stuff going against our screen, showing that there is a huge difference. Our screens produce brighter and better colors and produce higher white levels. We can show a difference. The gray products can't do this. They can't do Sherwin-Williams. They can't do the 2, 3, 4, 5. We mentioned about that. We're not going to mention his name. It's not going to be in the video at all, period. They can't do certain things because they know their product is going to match. That's what's going to happen. So, and the reason why I know this is because, like I said, in the particular time when we were developing these products, they didn't do side-by-sides. Never. Because they would match. What they did back then, they did environments. Fully lit environments. If you had a gray screen, all you had to do is prove that your screen could maintain in a fully lit environment. That's why if you look at the demonstrations on the digital and crystal screen paint, you will never see a comparison next to a gray screen. It wasn't required. What was required at that particular time is if your screen could maintain in a fully lit environment, because it was something that was unheard of with a gray screen. That's why he can't take his paint, or anyone else, not just him, can't take their paint and do a side-by-side next to any great product, because it will match. That's why. I know this because some people would say, well, you don't know anything about grace. I used to make this stuff on so many levels, it's not even funny. Once you get to a point, if you've done it for so many years, you have exhausted all resources on making this stuff. You know how far you can go. We have hit glass ceilings making this stuff. So I know already. How do you think I can just look at the product and tell and just go to Sherwin-Williams and get an identical match? We used to make it for many years. So we have quite a bit of experience in it. Enough experience to get a 10-year global contract. That shows you the difference on how advanced our stuff was toward everybody else's at that particular time. But the only thing you had to show off was you didn't have to do side-by-side demonstrations that certifies. Wasn't required. Gunmetals, remember, didn't exist. What were you doing a side-by-side against what? You didn't have to do demonstrations against 1,000 lumen projectors and that stuff. No, that didn't exist. The only thing you had to do was show a screen that could produce an image in a fully lit environment, somewhat fully lit environment, somewhat fully lit environment. And none of the other key features was it had to be able to be painted on in a short amount of time, because everybody was actually reflected off Goose Screen. Goose Screen took forever to paint a screen. It was such a huge freaking requirement of massive instructions in order to be able to paint one of those screens in. That's where the up and down robot formation came in, all that stuff. Constantly standing walls, priming walls, all that came from Goose Screen's preparations. That's where that came from. So anyone who's developed a screen paint at that particular time made sure that when they made the product as easy as possible to apply to a wall. But people weren't doing that. Screen paint makers that were making their products complicated. They wanted to reflect off Goose Screen. They wanted to have the same detailed instructions, and that's where they failed. Where we, on the other hand, developed a product that can be painted in no time at all and can be used and what I'd say like it was it wasn't a well lit environment like now. It's like a lamp in a corner. That's basically about it. But to that particular time and era, that was considered to be an amazing thing. So we'll put our keyword at the bottom under Digital One Crystal Screen Paint, and you can go look up my history. They don't have histories, we do. Look at my past, look at the beta testers, look at the contracts that were displaying our screens at that particular time, and you can see with those demonstrations, we didn't do the same thing we're doing now, because you couldn't, and it wasn't required. Now today, it is required that you can pull a screen in a fully lit environment. It's required that you don't have to use high expensive projectors because the cost of projectors then and now are a huge difference in price. I think back then the highest projector you could get was 3,000 lumens. That was considered to be a killer projector right there. Everything was between 22, 25, 27, 26, in that range. So, by that, the great products that you have against your wall are outdated. And when the gunmetal came out, which was diamond, and I remember when it came out, I remember seeing the fellow doing his demonstration on YouTube, where he came out there, he took that all white screen in that conference room, and he displayed the ocean. And I remember taking that sample sheet and moving it around the screen, and everywhere that sample sheet hit, that color, boom, 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 blew up on the screen. Quite impressive, extremely impressive. Came in and did a demonstration where he showed a dark environment, he showed an all white screen, and he showed his projection screen coming down and killing the light in the environment. Now, if you notice, we have documents from Screen Innovation. We have documents, one actually them acquiring about our technology, saying it has possibilities. That's right around the time we're developing DK. We're under Digital 4K Crystal Onyx. We changed their company over, obsoleted to Digital One Crystal Screen Paint over a contract dispute. And we started on a road of dark technology, especially after what I saw in that room that day. Which automatically changed the entire company over. And Diamond saw it. Screen Innovation saw our technology. We didn't even know they were even watching at the time. Didn't even know they were monitoring us at the time. We were developing this dark technology. And one of the things I noticed in that room, and I don't care if they get upset with this, but the truth be truth is what it is when we put that black diamond sample sheet on that D5K, and I wanted to go turn to the side, I noticed that the screens were getting dark around the edges. This is where we started finding out that screens have something called a narrow viewing cone effect, where the reflective surface, yes, it's there to produce a higher and brighter image due to the fact that the screen is darker. You have to understand it's a give and take in technology. So the screen being lighter, being darker, white levels are going to drop. But they have to have something on that film in order to get the screen to produce a much brighter image. That's where that reflective surface comes in. The problem with the reflective surface is it has a narrow viewing cone, which means if you move from left to right, it becomes dark around the edges. And keep in mind, if you're going to have a projector, you're going to have a projector that you're going to have to mount to the ceiling, adjust, and have it interline with the screen, because if it moves here, 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 or here, the edges start to become dark. It also has a problem with ultra short throws and short throw projectors. They are plagued by it from time to time. Not saying all of them, but most of them do have that issue. So that's what we realized when I was in the room and I was trying to make a screen paint better than the diamond. And I had it sitting right there. And I remember when I went to go move to the side to get the angle gain on the screen, it went dark around the corners. I was like, what the freak is that? Turned to the side again, it went dark again. I was like, oh, I went back to my buddy June. He was a guy who I learned about projectors from. He knew all this stuff about projectors, projector guru. He'd been around for a while. And I went back to him and I said, hey, look, this screen, when I turn to the side, why is it going dark? He said, oh, that's a narrow viewing cone effect. Went online, started researching the narrow viewing cone. What the heck is that? What does it mean? That's how I started educating myself, teaching myself all the stuff about these screens and how everything worked and everything. Not just coming on YouTube and talking a bunch of nonsense, actually going online, cracking books, doing research, figuring out why these screens are reacting this way, because this I could use to an advantage point. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, we got an email from, actually, an email, we got a phone call from Screen Innovation. They called me 9 o'clock in the morning. That's why it says on the message, email message, sorry to have woken you up. Because they called us. And I'm thinking it's a practical joke from my buddy Jim, because he's known for these jokes. And he's the one that gave me the punch sheet to begin with. And he knew I was obsessed with this dark screen. Every time I come up, I'm like, yeah, I have this dark screen, dark screen. This is right around the time I started developing dark technology. I thought it was him. And I said, oh, funny, June. Bam, hung the phone up. Yeah, good joke. Hung the phone up on him. Guy called back again and says, I don't know who this June fellow is, but I'm not him. I'm so and so from Screen Innovation. I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. These are the same people that I have downstairs in the test shop right now, that I'm on the phone with right now, and we talked a little bit. You know, I told him, yeah, I've studied your technology and quite impressed with it. Very advanced, beautiful. It's the reason why I changed over to darker technology. I was developing these green screen paint products. Had a nice conversation with them. But things went a little south. They went pretty bad when requesting certain items without an NDA attached to them. I'm not stupid. I was not born yesterday. So because we didn't have the NDA attached to it, we were not coming down to that particular facility with that particular item for any form of particular testing. It was never going to happen. And because they refused to, this is where things got hot and got heated. And we continued on, ignoring them, doing our demonstrations. And this is where we got the court order from the lawyer telling us, we need you to stay away or get sued. 2015, that's when it happened. Now, for those of you saying, oh, but that doesn't exist. Oh, it does exist. We have documents backing it up. I told you we back everything up at the end of the day. Because they knew the road we're traveling on. Now, with the technology we have, we don't have the D5K was a dark gray screen, very, very close to their technology. Now, what we have now, they couldn't hold a candle to if they wanted to. They know it. There's no way in the world there'll ever be to match a black screen. This contrast levels would overwhelm their screen with no problem. The whole purpose of their technology and gunmetal technology is to be able to produce a dark, dark level of contrast levels. That's what they advertise. And still maintain white levels. But now you're dealing with a screen that is jet black. You can't compete with that. No gunmetal can compete with it. So, none of the gray screen paints were ever contacted by Screen Innovation. You know why? Because at the end of the day, they don't consider you to be any form of competition toward them. That's what it comes down to. You have no letters, you have no documents, nothing at all. Because they look at you and go, whatever, and move on. Us, on the other hand, we are an issue. All right, so just to put that out there, I think I have them posted. I'm going to repost them again. I haven't posted in a while. I'm going to repost them again over on my 3Forum sites. Are talking with Screen Innovation and all that stuff. And I'll post it over there if you guys can check it out. I can also go into my email and pull up the original email. It's still there. And from 2015 of our conversation. So that's why I find it kind of interesting that a person who's trying to defend a great product by saying that what we have here is useless, consider the fact that we've got NDAs from Seymour AV. We got in our email accounts of people we've done business with in the past. These are big companies that we've been doing business with. When these individuals do make these products, I don't know the other ones, but I know about the other ones we have had encounters with, do not have any documentation such like so. But I'm going to show you why it's outdated. So here we have Sherwin-Williams Network Gray. As I said before, there's no point bringing his products here at all. His products are upstairs and that, no point at all, period. It all does the same thing. We've done that video before. I'll post it below where we basically made several different forms of great products. Our great products we made back in the day under digital official screen paint. How we made them. We had darker products, which under D5K and so forth. We did the demonstration. It all blends together, all of it. Doesn't do any different. So that's why it's no point in bringing the products out or even mention his name or whatever. It's not necessary because he does not need to be here for this. Because they all do the same thing. Sherwin-Williams Network Gray. This is called SW773. It's actually one of the most perfect matches I've ever seen. It matches everything. Now, in order, when you do this, you have to show a difference between night and day, which means you can't have a bump, can't have a hiccup, nothing at all, period. You must show there's a huge difference. This is an outdated product. Well, it's not a screen paint, it's an actual house paint, but you know, I'm getting that. It's outdated. Over here. Now, as I said before, and I said this many times, that you have to be able to back your product. You have to be able. I don't want it laying against my screen at all, period. My wallpaper screen. I love it. I don't want any tape, nothing laying against my screen. But as I said before, it's an outdated product. So if you do have a gray screen on your wall, your screen is outdated by 9 years. Now all that stuff I just explained to you, yeah, that's all true. You go to any forum site right now to this day and say, hey, look, which is better for me to have on my wall for a home theater setup? And they'll tell you it'll be a gunmetal, or if it's possible, and they don't know too much about us, if you can find a black screen. But most likely, they're going to pick gunmetals. That is the upgrade of a white screen. Because like I said, before gunmetals ever displayed themselves, the only screens you had out there pretty much were white screens. Yeah, Daylight had a lot of gray screens. That's why I was very shocked to see Daylight with a darker screen, because Daylight was known for making gray screens and white screens and stuff like that. I've never seen it with a dark screen, such like so. Let's see what we got going on here. Now, the first thing we like to show off when we do these demonstrations, which is very important, is color. The reason why we show off a color pattern is to show you how your projector is perceiving these colors. If you're seeing proper reds, blues, greens, yellows, oranges, if all that's coming up proper. Right now, you can see right now that the contrast level is not picking up. That is not going to happen. That's one of the things you're going to notice. The first thing is your contrast levels are going to drop like crazy. Now, if you're doing this on a standalone, as we did with ours, way before we started testing our products against different darker screens, we wouldn't have seen the difference. I didn't see the difference until I bought in. You watch the demonstrations, you'll see me talk about contrast levels, the black levels, this, that, and the other. When I go back and look at these demonstrations, I'm like, wow, my screens are pretty washed out back then. But at that particular time, it was popular. It wasn't a problem. Now, it's a problem. Because now they talk about contrast more than anything. In any demonstration, if you go back, they don't talk about contrast like that. Now today, you got projectors with these 2 million to 1 and 10,000, 20,000 to 1. That did not exist back then. There were no such thing as projectors having this kind of contrast rating. Didn't exist. OLED technology did not exist. So, you know, your cell phones with your black screens and all, no, that didn't exist. A dark gray, maybe, not a black. Let's go over to simple red. Perfect example. And then for some people say, well, it's not fair because you're not in a dark environment. Well, you just described that you had to turn your living room or environment into a cave in order to see a proper color. If that's your excuse at the end of the day, then, and I'm talking about not just him, I'm talking about gray screens in general, because I don't want anybody taking this personally, getting all riled up. You have to understand, if I was still developing gray screen paints and there was a fellow like me that came on here with a black screen like this, and I saw this demonstration, I'm not an idiot at the end of the day. I can see right there and stare at it that, okay, I can clearly see that that black screen is pulling a higher red level than mine. Now I got an option. I could change my technology and try to figure out how to do the exact same he's doing, or I can continue down this road, and to continue down this road would be completely pointless. That's why gunmetal screens are getting darker and darker. Gunmetal screens are getting so dark now that they're almost near the edge of black. Because even they know at the end of the day that the ultimate screen is black. All right, let's go over to blue screen. Now, mind you, we're not using a very powerful projector. We're using my, still using my LW400 Christie projector. All right. I got some people that will say, well, you know, there's an advantage point because your projectors, you do know that they're both being hit with the same amount of lumens. It isn't like my projector is projecting an image and going, nope, I'm just going to skip this one and hit his screen only. Now, you see how crazy that sounds? But there are some people that actually believe that. No, they're all being hit with the same thing. My projector is right now on eco mode. I'll show it to you. These are my settings on my projector right here. Now, for those of you that are familiar with Christie projectors, they know that whisper means eco mode. And you see my brightness? This is my brightness. Whoops, we changed it over. That's the one thing about this particular Christie projector. The menu does not stay on that long. Let's go back and hit it again. All right, so as we go down, you will notice that my brightness on my projector is at what? 9. And it sits in whisper mode. Whisper mode for Christie's. Had somebody bought a Christie projector, they want to put it in eco mode, and they were like, well, how do you put it in eco mode? I don't see it there. It's at the bottom. It's called whisper. That's eco mode. So I'm running my projector at a very low setting in brightness, and my screen still can maintain a bright enough image to pull up a bright enough color that can surpass the gray surface. Now, for anyone that sits there and says, well, hey, my product isn't Network Gray 773. All right, maybe it's not. Then you need to do a side-by-side demonstration of your product next to Network Gray 773 and any other great products you can get your hands on. Because I said before, someone can easily say, well, why should I buy your product? It could be just everyday black paint. That's why we have all those demonstrations versus black paint and different fabrics to show that there is a difference between night and day. I think the most and the best, because we're not going to put the 29 links, that's a lot of links. We're going to put in the most impressive one. The most impressive one I've done was when I actually draw into the screen with black paint. We'll put that at the bottom so you can check that out. All right, so let's go to let's get some colors that we can't get this slow color change out. Brown screen. Now, if you notice, when we're doing a demonstration, I'm not sitting right up on top of the screen. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be at a distance. This is where my chair sits. This is where I'm sitting because I have to see where I'm sitting at. In this chair, I have to see a difference between night and day. I can't be up on top of the screen. If you're too close on top of the screen at a finger distance, no one is going to sit that close to the screen. Nobody. So that particular test is out the window. It doesn't work. You go to any company and they see that, they'll be like, nope, what are you doing? You're too close to the screen. You have to come all the way back here where we're at, and I want to see a difference in where I'm standing at right now. There you go. I'll go down the line. It'll remain the same. Can't see color. This is why you're suggested to calibrate. I've never, ever asked a customer to ever calibrate a screen. Even when we're developing gray screen paint, we heard of calibration, but we never did it. I always consider calibrating as a way of cheating because you're enhancing your projector's capabilities in your demonstration. What about the person who doesn't calibrate a projector? So you're expecting that everyone to buy the product, in order for it to get those certain colors, they're going to have to calibrate. The problem also to have with those particular demonstrations is the high-powered projectors that are being constantly used in demonstrations. They never downgrade their machines. The reason why is because it's a crutch projector. It's a projector that's required for that demonstration to make the contrast looks better, to make the colors look better, and make the whites look higher. So question is, can I take the exact same, you're using this high-end projector, can I take a projector such like I have here, or maybe a 720p or an older model, and get the exact same image? That would be virtually impossible, because then why would you spend the money for the expensive projector when you could do the same thing with the cheaper projector? This is not mine. You're going to take it on the offense. I'm going to upset. We expect them to do that. When they react that way, we expect them to be that way because they're going to be on the offensive because they can't back the product. That's why they're going to be like, they're going to lash out. That's what they're going to do. But it's true fact. I can come in here, we had a 5,000 lumen Chrissy, and I can swap it out for a 720p. Downstairs, that's the same projector over here that I had in my theater room downstairs. What kind of projector do I have down there? 600 by 800 720p SVGA projector. That's what I'm using. That sits not in a dark corner, but in a bay of windows at 127 inches. Huge, very huge size screen. And it still maintains with no problem. So the reason why the image looks that way on that screen is because of the projector and not the screen painting. Because if it was, then you could swap it out, and for a lower end projector, you wouldn't even need that thing at the end of the day. Why would you need it? Unnecessary. Like we don't need that 5,000 lumen 1080p projector in here for this display. We can take it downstairs. We don't need it. I got plenty of 1080p projectors running to the house that we don't even use. Heck, I can swap out every last one of my screens in my house for 720p for a week with no problem, which I probably plan to do in the next couple of days. I'm going to swap all of the screens out for 720p's. That's not a bad demonstration. All right, that'll be good. That'll work. And you know me, once it pops in my head, Mr. Bird's going to do it. All right, let's go over here and let's check out. Now, people say, well, what about the white levels? Eye opener for you. This is really going to be a shocker for you. Highest screen that can pull the highest white level is white. Our walls are bone white, right? So I can take that gray screen, stick it against the white screen, show a snow level, and I guarantee you that the white screen is going to pull the higher white level because that screen has a tint of gray in it, which is the Network Gray 773. So it doesn't pull the same high white level as a white screen. Only a white screen can pull that level that high. Not even a black screen could match it. But a black screen, on the other hand, can pull the highest contrast levels that a white screen can't even touch. But a gray screen can't pull a high contrast level. So where does the gray screen lay at in the category of projection screens enhancement technology? Can't pull a contrast level. It can't pull proper color, right? It can't pull a white level equal to a white screen. So what does it benefit in home theater? Nothing. It's just an upgraded version of a white screen. That's pretty much what you have. That's why they have to go in and use the ambient light controlled environments to make the colors pop a little better, less resistance from all the light we have in the environment. And that's why they have to use a high-end projector, because they use a high-end projector that has the ability to be able to boost the the contrast and color. There you go. Your smoke and mirrors right there. Now, if that weren't so, man, go out and get yourself a 720p projector and pull up the same exact image with no problem. And mind you, do this in a fully lit environment. You do know the whole purpose of the ultra short throw projector, right? It was never designed to be a movie theater projector like the one you throw back, you mount it to your ceiling. It wasn't meant for that. It was meant to be a home entertainment. That's what I like about the P2 commercial, how they have with their promo commercial. They have the projector sitting right up front. They have all this white in the environment. Everything's light, everything's bright, the family's around it. Do you see any of those demonstrations in the dark in a promo demonstration? You don't, do you? Because it wasn't meant for that. It was meant to replace the TV. You go into a TV forum site and have a conversation with those guys over there. I call them Stonehenge. The reason I call them Stonehenge because they got this 77-inch TV in the middle, and they got these giant speakers racked all around them. The sound is huge, but it doesn't match the size of the screen. And the first complaint they have against projection screens is, oh, they wash out, they fade, they can't keep their color. You got to calibrate them. Why did I spend all that money for a projector and I got to be sitting in the dark? Yeah, that's their complaints. Can't pick up angles. At the end of the day, I got to turn around and spend the money for a projector and a screen. So let me get this straight. I'm going to spend about $3,000, $4,000 for a projector, and then spend an additional $5,000. And mind you, it's only 100 inch, and yeah, they go on and on about that. They do. But they're right. They're actually 100% right. You can't argue with them on that. They're kind of right on that until that screen popped in. Because this screen can be used on a projector that costs $100. Well, that theory's out the window. Can be used in a fully lit environment. That theory is definitely out the window. I can take my screen outside. You can't take your TV outside. I can use multiple different alternate short throws to make a difference. Well, that theory's out the window right there. And I can pull a black level, just like your TV. Because my screen's black, not gray. That's out the window. And that changes the game right there. So when you take a P2 or any other high-end ultra short throw projector, Epson, whatever it may be, and you try to give it that TV appearance, you're going to be missing contrast, you're going to be missing color, you're going to get that at the end of the day. Which means all the money you paid for your projector, you still can't produce this image. You can only produce that image. I told you at the end of the day, doesn't make a difference how much money you spend on your projector. If you don't have the proper screen, you don't have the proper picture. It's not going to pop. It's not going to happen. If that were the case, and if there was a projector out there, I'm not talking about P2. You're talking about in the realm of basically venue projectors. You're talking about Epsons and Barcos and Roncos, those big boys. You're talking about those projectors that can easily cost you $75,000, easy cost you $500,000 without a lens attached to it, which costs you another additional $20, $30, $40, $50,000 for a lens for one of these projectors. With the big boy commercials, way beyond what we have here. Their contrast ratio is insane, unbelievable. You ever see what movie theater contrast capabilities are insane. But at the end of the day, like I said, with all that power, you're still not seeing a 100% contrast level. I'll tell you something. If you've been around black technology as long as I had, you see things differently. When I go to a movie theater and I sit down, I don't see contrast. I don't see black levels because I'm used to seeing that all day. Yep, kind of ruins the experience for you. But then again, you go home and just watch it, whatever, again, when it comes out, and you can see it differently. But yeah, it doesn't look the same for me when I go to movie theaters. But with all that power and all that contrast to begin with, if it had the capability to be able to produce a 100% black level on a white screen or a silver screen, do you have any idea? You know, that technology would have eventually trickled down into these projectors eventually. There is no projector on the face of this planet that has the ability to be able to produce a contrast level so dark that it makes a white screen look like that color right there. Never will happen. It's physics. It's not going to happen. Unless you got a magic wand, your name is Harry Potter. All right, so let's get to the white level here. So for some of you saying, well, the white level's higher. I've had this demonstration. I was in a room one time. We showed off a white screen. We showed the Versus Art technology. We got all these people that came into, oh yeah, before we even showed the color, we didn't even show color at all, period. We showed the white levels first because I knew what was going to happen. They were going to come in a room. They were going to start ranting about how the gray screen paint is pulling a much higher white level. That's not a good sign. That's an extremely bad sign. That's why you see me doing these 18 screen certifieds. I'm doing the white levels first. You ever notice why I always do white level first on certified screens? Because I'm looking at a certain white level. If that white level peaks to a certain height, we know the screen's going to have an issue. It's going to produce its white level, yes, but it's going to have an issue to contrast and color. So if you get a screen and you have your projector and you're producing amazing white levels, but your contrast and color is suffering horribly, you just bought a white screen, because what white screens do. They produce high white levels, but their contrast and colors suffer. They don't do well in ambient light lit environments. They look horrible outside. You just bought an upgrade version of a white screen. So that's what we're staring at. Our screen has to have a certain tone of a white level in order to maintain contrast and color all at the same time. So it's a dance, it's a balance, it's a dance. Can't be one-sided, there'll be problems. All right, so seeing that, how high the white levels are, and keep in mind when you're developing black technology, any company, people act like this is nothing new, this has been going on since people started developing gunmetal and darker screens, automatically know from the door that a darker screen's white level is going to drop by a tad. They always do that, always. The thing is they have to be to maintain a high enough white level where the screen is noticeable and can be seen. Our screens produce an outstanding white level at that, at being dark, versus a gunmetal screen, which is not as dark as our screen, and we can still maintain high enough white levels. That should be quite impressive, especially in the middle of a snowstorm, which is extremely hard to do. You do know when you do a demonstration at 150 inches out in the snow, you know what snow does, right? Snow is white. You know what white does? It reflects a ton of light. That's why when you walk outside in the middle of a snowstorm, your eyes start to shrink because you can barely see because there's so much light coming at your face. What do you do to fix that? You put sunglasses on. That's why. That adjusts your eyes to be to see much clearer, much sharper, because it's called getting snow blind. That's why we did the demonstration in the snow, because we knew the screen was going to be hit with 10 times more light. It's more of a challenge for us. Yep. All right. So being said, screen produces a high enough white level. Bottom line is you can't actually see color. Yeah, you end up with basically the white screen effect. Now, in order to fix this, you have to darken your environment. Let's go with slow color changeout. In my demonstrations, I like to explain things. I like to sit back and explain things and tell you why all this is happening. Instead of getting up on the camera and basically just and not explaining anything at all, period. The reason why they can't give you the same knowledge I'm giving you now because they don't even understand their own product.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I know I can be challenging, but I'm deeper than what you see.
Now we do a slow color changeout. Slow color changeout is going to go through a random bunch of colors. This is what you're supposed to be seeing. No demonstration should ever be that short. If your watching demonstrations and they're that short, there's something wrong there. I watched certified screens and I was like, so where's the color pattern test? Where's the contrast test? Nothing. I just see them talk about the screen. Punch it. That's what it is to me at the end of the day. And then basically they'll put it on a projector, which I know they're using the high-end, high-power projector they probably selected for that day. We'll go with this particular model because this particular model has a higher contrast, produces higher color. It's a newer model. And that way we can, chances are they're probably advertising the projector too along with the screen. And then they'll put the screen in an ambient controlled environment and they'll read from a script and they'll just show one video, boop, and they're done. That's it. I got a lot of questions to ask. That's why I got kicked out of the booth when I was in there over at Best Buy because I kept getting up and I kept going to the side of the screen because I wanted to see how the angle game was going to trigger off. And the guy was like, no, sir, for your best viewing, optimizing pleasure, we need you to sit right here in the center. Well, why can't I go over there? It's a $5,000 screen. I should be able to go over there if I want. Yep. They're asking questions that they're not used to hearing. Hey, what's your projector in the back? Well, what's your lumen count on that? What's the res count? Asking all kinds of questions. Yeah, I'm not used to hearing all that. I'm used to people being impressed about the screen. All right, so as you see, color's not picking up. You want to try this with the lights out? We'll do lights out. Now, mind you, the minute I turn the lights out, this clearly shows that this is, if your color improves, if the color improves on that gray screen by a little, it shows that that's where you're going to have to be at in order to get that improvement. You can't be in a flooded environment because your screen will wash out. All right, so put you right there. Now, we've done this many times before. I've explained to you the reason why that gray screens don't do well in the dark either. Again, you can't maintain contrast or color, period. You get a slight little bump, that's all you get. Next to our technology, no. Now, if you're trying to say, well, next to a black paint or whatever it may be, nah, you're not going to, the results you're going to get from that are basically, black paint's still going to be to maintain better color to a certain degree. And we have to do that test. Let's get some everyday black paint, put against some of these great products and see what we get. But the white levels on the gray screen are always going to be more advanced than black paint, because black paint or black fabrics and so forth can't see white light. They can't accept it. So that's why when they do these demonstrations, they'll pick some black paint or some black fabric or something dark and say, hey, look, this is what our product looks like next to theirs. Our product's pulling a higher white level, so and so and so. Yeah, but you never show the contrast either. Which at the end of the day, black paint, black fabric, any one of those materials can pull a higher contrast level than gray paint. But they fail to show you that part. They want to show you how dark and dirty the image is going to come up and how it's unwatchable, unseeable. We are in a live demonstration right now. Now, as I said before, easy. And this is for anyone who develops gray screen paint. It's easy for us to go and take black fabric or whatever we want, lay it against our screen, show a difference. What I would really like to see, and I've mentioned it multiple times, is seeing that network gray 773 laying against any gray screen product and showing a difference. And it's going to match. As I said before, back then, it wasn't a requirement. Now it is a requirement. Let's go to, we're showing the white. Now, mind you, on our technology, like I said, it's different from other products. We can maintain high white levels. And in order for our technology to maintain a white levels have to be used when it comes to color because you have to show a bright enough color. But yet, contrast is very important because it causes the color to become deep and rich, dark. Gives it a beautiful, rich color. Doesn't become washed out or faded. And all that is required in ambient light rejection technology. That's why gray screen will never have the name ambient light rejection technology next to it. Because the minute you turn the lights on, it washes out. I don't even understand how the certified screens even have it, because certified screens will say, hey, it's ambient light rejection, but you have to use an ambient light controlled environment. That's not ambient light rejection. Either it is or it isn't, one or the other. Let's go with the Starfield screensaver.
Getting that from YouTube.
Now, like I said, when I see this demonstration, they'll say, oh, but we're picking up a contrast level. No, you're picking up shades of gray. I want to see a 100% black level. And the only way to do that is if you don't have our product, well, then guess what? You can go get some black paint because it'll do the exact same thing. Any black surface will pull a contrast level. The problem is which one is going to pull the higher white level. That's what's important. Next to our technology, mine, this is a 38 Black Widow. This has the ability to pull insane white levels. It's a shame that people, the only people that are, you have other people out there that do sell great products. Don't get me wrong. These individuals, and I've watched demonstrations, none of them are not selling a product. They're not doing something that is misleading to the customers. They're not doing that. Sorry, fellows, I have to bring you up on this. I really do. You have to be brought up on this. You mislead customers. A great deal you mislead them. You have them believing that a gray screen can pull a contrast level. No gray screen can pull a contrast level. Not at all, period. If that's the case and you're making this statement that your gray screen can pull a contrast level equal to a black screen, then you need to do a demonstration with other gray products to show that your screen pulls the highest contrast level. And then you must take that demonstration, showing you beating out all the other gray screens, because what about anybody else who develops a gray screen? And they see that demonstration, so okay, this paint pulls higher than a black screen. Oh, then we should do it side by side. What is the difference between your product and other gray screen paint products? What is the difference between your product and house paint that may match your product? Does your screen show a difference? You say you pull a higher contrast level, then how is your screen different from other gray screens? Do you actually pull a higher contrast? You need to display that. Not only do you need to display that, but you need to take some black paint that down the side of the screen, take your product, lay it against it, and show a star field and show your screen blending into the star field. These are the tests you have to do. You can't just make accusations off the wall and say, these people are going to believe in it because I say it. It doesn't work that way. Because anyone who has the ability to make a gray screen or white screen produce the exact same contrast as a black screen, do you have any idea how much money that technology will be worth at the end of the day? That obsoletes the gunmetal and it obsoletes the black screen. And anyone who had that capability would be showing it off all over YouTube. You would see so many test demonstrations underneath that, it would be insane. That's like somebody figured out how to take rocks and turn them into solid gold. You think they're going to keep that a secret? That is going to be every place and any place. You're going to see it on the news, you're going to see it everywhere. Every tech company on the face of the planet is going to figure out what kind of machinery did you use to do that one. So no, that's never done. It was never possible. It was just talk. They go into a room, they take the gray screen paint, they put it on the wall, they hit it with a projector with a 2 million to 1 contrast ratio, put it in a dark environment, and say, well, look, I'm pulling a 100% black level. Yeah, that doesn't work. You can't do it that way. How you have to do it is take other great products, put your product against it to show that you show a huge difference in contrast levels versus those products that you can produce at 100% black level. Then you take that black paint and you put it right next to your screen and you blend into that black screen and make the other ones look like they're white sheets of paper. That's how you do that demonstration. As in, we can take our screen, display a white level, something that a black screen does not supposed to have the capability of doing, and put black fabric and film and whatever against the screen, and we can turn those surfaces into black dots while our screen maintains a high white level. So yeah, that's the reason why with the other demonstrations I've seen with people that are making gray screen paint products, they don't put this crazy stuff in there. They explain their products for what they are. They never say the screen's going to have the same contrast levels. It's going to be equal to a black screen. They always put the contrast levels are going to be fair. You know, it's best used in the ambient controlled environment. These are things they're putting there. So they're being honest about their product. Going in there and making statements that your product basically puts black level equal to a black screen, it's a lie. You don't have any way to back it up. Man, I'm not even going to go into the 2 quarts and the 1 and 300 inch because that's just way too easy. That has nothing to do with this, and we're not going to go down the road. But like I said, yeah, misleading, a lot of misleading information. And like I said, we're going to get the complaints. They'll say, well, you know, my product is a network grade 773. It's different. Okay, you made that statement. Now you show us why it's different. Don't talk it, show us why your product is different from what we have sitting up here. And while you're at it, you can take your 2, 3, 4, and 5, which those you don't know that, this is a YouTube video that was deleted off his account. We would like to see that being done with these different blends of products live on YouTube. Everybody can see how you're making them one by one and show a difference. You can't do that. It'll match. So there's nothing really special about your product. It's an old product. It's outdated. There you go. See? It's not showing anything new. That's why we did all the screens downstairs. We did the blends all together. They all match. No problem. No matter what we mix, no matter what we put together, it all matched with no problem. Even the digital official screen paint, even the digital one, Elite Silver, all matched. The silver, the gray, all of it matched. We made a dark mix, it all matched. All does the same thing. If someone had something different, you would see a ton of demonstrations like, look, this is my product against this company, this is my product against that company, my product's gray here, my product over here against Bear, we can drop this, we can make products right here on camera and show you. No, can't do that. Let's see, let's go to the goldfish, see if you can pull a black background. No, I'm saying, can't say he, that's wrong to say because this is not his product. Let's see if the gray screen can pull black background. And it can. There are no enhancements on my projector. My projector has a 2,000 to 1 contrast ratio. So we don't have a 2 million, we don't have 10,000, we don't have 20,000. I got a short throw in here, short throw projector in here that has 10,000. And you see in the other room has 10,000. The projector I had downstairs has a 20,000. So how is it that, well, you can't say that's a screen paint because it's not an actual screen paint, it's actually a house paint. False accusations of optimization, that is fake. Telling people at the end of the day that if you put multiple coats on, it changes the outcome of the screen. You have nothing there to back it up. That's like going into a science class and you're explaining how you're able to split an atom, and you're showing the theory of how it can be done, but you're not showing the physical presentation on how it's done. So how is this? This is your theory of top here. How do you know your theory actually works if we do it physical? And sometimes it doesn't work on paper. Sometimes you can write it down on paper and it sounds perfectly fine, but until you actually test it and you go, oh shoot, all kinds of crap will pop up. This is why testing is important. Just because you write it down on paper, you have to test it. This is why we have so many test demonstrations. Because we have to see how this product is going to react. Right? You're talking about all these things you have to, and then you turn around and it matches the wall in your home theater. I've had these conversations with customers all the time. I do. When I'm talking to customers and your name does come up, both your names come, well, actually, one of the names come up quite a few in business and they don't take you seriously. They really don't. I'm not trying to be rude, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but they do not take you seriously because of your demonstrations. Even they know. I mean, they know. I mean, you may fool a few of the people that are coming in that don't know much about projection screens. They can fool them. But people that have been in the field for a long time, even people just project enthusiasm to people, companies, even they know at the end of the day, there is no way in the world that a gray screen is ever going to produce a contrast level equal to a black screen. So that's why I figured that why would we even go in and entertain the thought of using this products here? Because anybody else with knowledge and understanding could pretty much know that that is never going to happen. Let's turn our lights back on. I'm used to being with the lights on, and you know what's going to happen. That screen is washed out that badly there, and it's not going to pick up. And this is the reason why we explained to you why these things are outdated. Let's come over here. There we go. Back on. Now, if you notice, that screen maintains black, right? It's always going to be black. Lights on, lights off, doesn't make a difference. That screen is always going to maintain a black level. Gray product? No. I got a test for those of you who have these insane contrast ratio screens. Get a black paint. It's all you need is black paint. Simple test. Get black paint. Paint a screen that's black. Take some of your gray paint and stick it right in the middle, and then display this right here. And see if you can blend into the black paint with a 2 million to 1, or 3 million to 1, or 5 million. So you can blend into it. And if it doesn't work, it just shows you in the day that your screen doesn't work, that you're not pulling up a contrast so that you think you're seeing at the end of the day. Simple test. Let's see, where do we want to go? Because I'm going to run too much time into this. This is why when I explained to you that the OLED demonstrations are not meant for gray screens. It wasn't designed for gray screen at all, period. I'm pretty sure when OLED, the company was developing the technology, you know what? We're going to test this on a gray screen. No, it was tested for a black screen only. Natural Desire 8K. I don't have to put it on my screen. I don't want this on my screen. I have to put it on my screen. Ugh, I don't tape on my screen. I'm not walking. This is going to go bad. When you sit there and I tell you that it's not going to be good, I know it's not going to be good. It's not going to fix the jack. So we just can't see color. Remember, that's why I showed you the color pattern. Now again, my projector behind me cost me $100. For some of you are sitting up there with $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 projectors, and you really think at the end of the day that you're picking up color? In contrast, you're not even close to it. Not even close. Not even close. I did the same thing. I went to a forum site and these people got like $30,000, $40,000, $20,000 projector setups in there. And they're showing off their screens. Like, look at the bright colors. I'm like, no, you see that edge around your screen that's washing out that tannish look like that? All the way around your screen? They can't see it because all they see is this. The minute I come in and I show them the demonstration and I show them our screen, that's it. Everything changes for them. Now they look at their screen differently. They look at what they can't see or what they should be seeing at the end of the day. Same thing I saw with the Screen Innovation sample sheet in my room. I saw things that I never saw on that projector behind me. I didn't even think that projector had capabilities like that until it hit that sample sheet. Not only did I get the effect, oops, I'll get that right there real quick. Pause right there. Not only did I get the effect of watching this high performance gunmetal screen outperform my screen, but I got a chance to see my projector do something that I didn't even think it had the capability of doing because of the screen. That's when I realized if you don't have the proper screen and you can have the best projector in the world, it doesn't make a difference. You're not going to see it. So imagine how much picture quality you're losing from your screen right now. That's why mostly the majority of Transformer sites showing them these great products that you're using are outdated. They're old. Let's put this up here again. Hopefully it stays this time. There we go. Fresh piece of tape on that. Let's rewind that back a little bit. Now, those of you who know this stuff already, you can fast forward to this part. And those who don't, well, guess what? It'll give you a chance to educate you on everything there is about gray screen paint products. Interesting that you were probably never educated on the history and all this and how it all started with Goose Screen. You probably weren't. You know why? Because the two individuals who make these products and over embellish on how these products are don't even know the history themselves because they weren't there. I was. That's how I know. Because I had some people, when I was showing off my demonstration, they were like, wait a minute. Yeah, no, I didn't develop black. Some of the naysayers will come in and go, oh, you're black. You didn't know that. Way back then, I was developing the same product that sits on your wall right now. And when I pulled up the digital crystal screen paint, they saw Mr. Bird, a 30-year-old man at that particular time, rolling it on the wall. Guess what color the paint was? It wasn't black. Every last one of those demonstrations were the same demonstrations that you're seeing now from 9 years back. All those demonstrations on cardboard and drywall, we've done those already. Everything, we've done them already. So you didn't know at the particular time. I had people saying, well, you know, all you make is black. No. We did that too on top of that. And when I showed those demonstrations, jaws dropped to the ground because they didn't realize at that particular time I was also developing gray. How do you think I got here? So the very stuff when I tell you that you have sitting on your wall right now, we can make it. We know its flaws. We know exactly how it won't be to do this. It can't do that. We know this already from experience. But when they say, oh, we can make black, no, you can't make black technology. You can't even make a simple dark gray. We've seen that here, and that thing is horrible. Our screen can take on a DMP supernova with no problem. The problem is you can't take on that screen because the problem you have there, and I'm speaking to the individual, the problem you have there is the fact that you can't pull white levels. Your screen doesn't register white levels, too many black levels. And that's why the DMP supernova, if you ever saw the test against it's certified, pull a higher white level and maintain a beautiful image over, and I'm sorry to say this, buddy, but your UV mix with no problem. Because at the end of the day, when we look at that and we can mimic, and we were able to mimic your product right there on camera, when we did that, hey, we're gonna make a dark mix, and it mimicked your product, we made it out of black and white paint. That's how we know it's black and white paint in your products. They react the same way on how we used to make our products back in the day before we added in the Martha Stewart and the glitter. That's how I know. Because I got a history of making your product. But when it comes to black technology, you can't make it. You can't get a simple dark gray to not pull up a white level next to a certified screen, and we can beat that screen with no problem. Clearly shows you don't know what you're doing even when it comes to dark technology. When that's the case, you'd be to pass all 29 tests under this technology, which I still haven't seen yet. Let's go over and let's get, let's see, oh, my personal favorite one right here. And like I said, we're going to hear the argument saying, hey, well, you know, no. My product does not match. It is not Network Grade 77. The minute you say it's not, then you need to go out and buy that product and show that there's a difference. I'm not talking about a slight bump. I'm not talking about sitting up on top of the screen at a finger distance. You need to be back here. They should see the entire environment. When you show up a contrast level, and I'm going to show you people how it's done, you're not supposed to be so close up on the screen. Why are you even that close when showing a contrast level? It's not about people who do faulty demonstrations. You're never supposed to be that close to the screen. Are you going to be sitting that close to the screen every time a contrast level pops up? So why the heck are you that close to begin with? You should be from where I'm at right now to see that contrast level. Because if that person has to get that close to a screen to show a contrast level, that means every time a contrast level, you get up out of your chair, walk over to the screen, press your face against the screen. And mind you, keep in mind, and I'm sorry, buddy, I gotta say this, I'm not gonna mention your name, but I'm sorry, but it's true. Your projector has a 2,000,000 to 1 contrast ratio. And you have to get up out of your chair and walk over to a screen to have the camera that close at a finger distance to show a contrast level on a 2,000,000 to 1. Where I'm back around almost 13 feet and my projector only has 2,000. And still, in that environment where you try to show off a well-lit environment, your environment was very dark. If your environment was well-lit, you wouldn't have pockets of darkness in your corners. Your areas would be well-lit. The sun's not even up right now, and look at my environment. Nice and bright. No dark corners, nothing. That's why you got to be careful. That's why I kept taking the camera and pointing here, because in this area had more light in here. But then when you went to turn the camera here, you notice that there were dark pockets all up in here along the side of the wall, right over in here. Can't do that. That's a fake demonstration. If you're going to be showing up an environment, in a fully lit environment, it must be fully lit. I'm going to finish painting the rest of these walls again because I want it whiter in here. That's why we painted the room white. More light. I'm going to go over to, let me see. The reason why I say that because you can't, like I said, the other people make great screen paint products, they don't do that kind of stuff. You watch the demonstrations, they keep it real as real can get. They don't do any false advertising. You don't see them getting up on top of the screen with the camera. You never see them do that. You see them doing it at a distance. If you have to be that close to a screen to show you a difference, then there's a problem there. Especially with a projector, that high caliber projector, you shouldn't have to do that. Because I said before, P2s don't have issues. There's nothing wrong with the projectors. The first time people ask me, what do you think? That's a good projector, it's fantastic. The problem is it's being displayed off a screen that's dumbing the projector down. It's literally dumbing the projector down. Seen the difference with the guy who had the Dark Star 9? See how he had a fully lit environment watching the football game in the environment? See the difference between his environment? Yeah, he got a $3,000 projection screen sitting against his wall. The other fellow who was showing off, he was sitting in the dark too. He doesn't have a $3,000 projection screen. That projector will only work on how well your screen can perform. All right, almost past time here. Show contrast, color. We explained it all. So, next one we're going to do, we're going to take the 5,000 lumen Monster House and put that against this screen over here and show you why gray screen products should never be displayed on OLED demonstrations. OLEDs being the most popular, the most, every company displays them. Sony has them, all these different TV companies have, they all have OLED technology embedded into them to be able to produce those nice, bright levels, contrast levels. So why would a gray screen display it? Like I said, I'm pretty sure the people who made the OLED technology had no intention of displaying it on a gray screen. I love how people, when I go and look at their setups and they have this big old gray screen sitting on the wall, I'm like, that's outdated. You imagine if you go to somebody's house and they got like a 77-inch TV on the wall and it's gray, and you're like, how old is your screen? That's the first thing that's going to come out of your mouth. Say it doesn't. Watching your friend pull out a cell phone. Yeah, I just got this cell phone and the screen's gray. When did you get that phone for, like 1985? That's the first thing going to come out of your mouth. So why do you got this big old gray screen sitting on your wall with a high-end projector with all those capabilities your projector has, and you can't even see it because your screen just dumbed down your projector? I'm sorry, dumbed down your, yeah, pretty much dumbed down, sorry, get that mixed up. Dumbed down your projector at the end of the day. I bet you the people who made this particular projector right here that decided, you know what, we're going to discontinue this model and get a much better model. It's going to produce better black levels and color and contrast. Didn't realize that the projector that they had here was perfectly fine because it looks amazing on our screen. It's pulling insane contrast levels. It's pulling amazing color. The white levels are beautiful. And yet they threw it in the trash because they figured, it's trash. It's an old model. You know, let's get a better model that pulls a higher contrast level. And the strange thing about it is they'll take that same high-end projector, they'll stick it on the same screen, and they'll dumb it down. Unless they've got the money for the black diamond. I'm pretty sure they're probably doing black diamonds or whatever. But they're doing a gray screen or white screen. They just dumb down the machines. You can go back and build another one because you think that projector's inferior too. Oh, keep doing it because I keep buying the older projectors. Thank you. Because every time you dumb down this, you don't want this projector anymore, and it's $100 on eBay. I'll go buy me a couple of these. I'm good. I'll save a ton of money because I know my screen can take that projector and make it look like this at the end of the day. See, can't even. It doesn't pick up. It doesn't register. That's why I laugh when I see these high-end projectors come out and they show it on this white screen. And my Sony VPL FA30, they put that on a gray screen. I was like, and then that white screen too on top. And I'm like, well, look at the colors. Yeah, you're not getting the same image I'm getting over here. Yeah, go ahead. They toss up these projectors. That's a high-end projector over there. Real high-end projector, but it costs $500 because it's an old projector and they think it's trash. They throw it in a landfill. And because my screen can make that projector look like $1 million, I only pay $500 for it. Because the projector behind me is 720p, and mind you, they're sitting at a brightness 9 in eco mode, and I can still produce this image in a fully lit environment on a black surface and pull a higher color level than a gray screen. I save a ton of money. I don't know where you're saving any money at the end of the day. The P2 has amazing capabilities. You will never, ever, ever see it. You know why? Because the screen's being dumbed down. That's why. Not picking up that background, it's never going to come up. And people go out and they spend all this money for these projectors. I'll get that. 2 million to 1, I'll get that. Billions and billions of colors. You're not picking up any of that. Why does your projector have billions of colors and you're calibrating? It doesn't even make any sense at the end of the day. Why? Well, it has like 2 million colors, 4 million colors. It has a 12-bit. You got all that power and you got to calibrate for what? What are you calibrating for? Oh my, I'm trying to get my colors right. I just look at them and frown, like, okay, good luck with that one. We don't do that over here. So I don't mind companies. You want to go take your projectors and throw them in landfills and, hey, I'll buy them. No problem whatsoever. And we'll turn them into this with our technology. $720p. I heard an individual, we know he is, said, oh, 720p are outdated projectors. Well, they're outdated. Why do they still make them? They still make 720p projectors. Nobody will use them. Well, the reason why they don't look good because your screen's dumbing down the projectors. We're not having that problem with 720p's over here. It's a $109 projector. Most likely you're going to pay for the LX or the LW. It's probably around 130, 140 bucks. That's it. Can you imagine? That's all you're going to spend for your projector is $140. Because the technology you have that you can paint on your wall or anything else you want, you can upgrade that to a technology that is beyond the 3,000, 5,000 marks of projection screens that you don't have to calibrate and go through none of that crap. That's why I go to these forum sites which are talking about, oh, the optimization, and you have to be in line with the projector and how much square feet per run, blah, 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 blah. Here's my screen outside on a 720p that cost me $270. There you go. What's the contrast ratio at? 2,000. That's it. The nonsense, and now getting to the certified companies, and I'm gonna dig into you guys a little bit here. The stuff you guys talk about is protocol. You have to say that stuff. Why would you say you have an ambient light rejection technology, but you have to use this room in an ambient light controlled environment, aka my screen can't pick up in a fully lit environment. You got to calibrate your projector for optimal viewing pleasure, aka you can't see color at the end of the day. You have this massive amount of contrast ratio because you know at the end of the day that your contrast levels don't pick up, period. And even on this gray screen paint products we have over here, you still can't even pick up. All that stuff is sitting back a certain seating and viewing. You have to be in line with the screen and all that nonsense where the projector has to be sitting. That's because some of these screens have that reflective surface around it. And again, if you go from left to right, they become dark, which means that projector has to be in line with the screen for the image to pull up. If it's on the ground, the image may become dark. If it's too high, it may become dark. It must be in line with the screen perfectly. Yeah, we don't have that issue. I had a conversation when I was doing the one of my screen paints, and I never forget the guy was against a Dark Star 9. The guy was saying, well, you know, you can't do that. That demonstration is done wrong. The Dark Star 9 has to be interlined with the screen. And I said, well, at the end of the day, I'm going to spend $3,000 for a projection screen. I better be able to put it anywhere I want in my house, and that thing better pick up. It's a lot of money to spend for a screen. Now, let me see, hold on, let me do this. Back to the dark contrast demonstrations. We did a white level yesterday. Oh, pancakes. Oh, last time I had pancakes. We just need to do some shopping. Now the demonstrations of, oh, this is a black surface. This is how black screens come out. Again, you don't have our technology. If you did, you would have one with that batch number attached to the back of it, and you don't have it. And because you can't have it, you can't say that all black screens do the same thing. That's like me saying, hey, all cars do the exact same thing. They all have sticks. All cars don't have sticks. Some have automatics, some have sticks, so can't say that. Some have different torques, some have different transmissions. You can't say they all have the same, different engines, different doors. They're all different. But we can honestly say on our end that these great products all match because we've done the tests over here. We can honestly say that our products here don't match other black products because we've done the tests over here. Now, if they haven't backed it up, then guess what? Either two things. If you got house paint sitting on your wall or you got a 9-year-old product, one or the other, you just dumbed the daylights out of your projector. Now, let's get this one over here. There's no way to where you're picking that up. All right, well, with that being said, I'm gonna get ready for our next demonstration. It's gonna be a little shorter and sweeter. This one, we have to always go into detail. There's a lot to explain, especially when you're dealing with gray screens and black screens. We're doing gunmetals and stuff like that. You have to be able to show that difference. Now, I've explained to you before, if that can't pick up a contrast level, this is gunmetal technology. You see how dark that is? These screens are designed to pick up heavy contrast levels. Background, goldfish, black. That's what that screen is designed to do. It's a gunmetal screen. Gunmetal screens are designed to pick up heavier and darker contrast levels. That's what it's engineered to do. So how do you compete with a screen that's black? Your selling point for your product is basically its ability to be able to maintain contrast in fully lit environments. Dark Star 9, my personal favorite. Gunmetal. Yeah, remember I told you about the reflective surface? See how, if you look at the screen here, how it's darker there? That's because they have to lay perfectly flat to the wall or they become dark. We're not going to pick up the contrast. Red screen.
Getting that from YouTube.
Pick up a basic color. See? See how it becomes dark right there? That screen has to lay perfectly flat against the wall. If not just a ripple or a line or anything in there, it becomes dark on the corners. There you go. It's right here. Okay, today. There we go. So that's nice and flat. Now, you see how they both went dark? That's called the narrow viewing comb effect. The reflective surface that's on the screen basically has an issue when you try to pull it up on an angle. Let's move in the front. There we go. Slowly. The Dark Star 9 has less of an effect when it comes to producing color, but like I said, as we start to turn, the narrow viewing effect triggers off. Depends on when they develop the technology, how much of the narrow viewing comb affects the screen as it starts to turn on an angle. All right, well, that being said, oh, and by the way, $3,000, $5,000. And the technology we use to paint this screen, $209. All right, we're done. That being said, I hope you enjoyed the video demonstration. I have to do another demonstration in a few minutes or so. We're going to be posting this on our site, showing you at the end of the day why the gray screen paint products are, and even with the gunmetals, are not meant for OLED demonstrations. All right, gotta go. Thank you all, and God bless.